episode of Oregon Life.
Thanks for
Right?
watching this episode
of Oregon Life.
Hello, I'm Frank Caruso, and welcome to a brand new episode of Oregon Life. Josh Weber, Oregon High School student, entrepreneur. He is really making a difference in the world. Often the trades are underlooked. Josh is excited about them and passionate about them, as you will find out in this episode of Oregon Life.
Come on in. I'm Josh Weber. I'm an Oregon High School student, and we've been working on fabricating our race car. One of the pieces for it is a suspension lower control arm, which attaches the wheel to the car. We had to laser cut these pieces and weld them together, along with cutting these bars in the right angle to get them properly lined up so we can attach a wheel up here with some other hardware that we have to laser cut. But this is one piece, and then there's this piece, which kind of shows more of the laser cutting without any of the welds on it, of directly what we're making. And that's the basic fabrication side of building our race car. Underneath here, we also have pre-bent tube, which this will be our fuel cell. This will hold all of the fuel for our race car so we can actually drive it. Because just like your regular car, it uses gas. This will end up going around it and it'll have our fuel here. So if we do get hit or crash, it's not gonna explode. This is our back room where we have our race car that we've been building. In reference back to the piece I held up earlier, this is our rear lower suspension arm, the blueprints for it, so we knew exactly what to cut and how to put it together. And actually here is its counterpart just on the other side. And this is what we have so far, but we're planning on putting an engine here with a drivetrain coming back to the rear wheels, along with a fuel cell either top mounted or rear mounted way back there. And in the end, it'll look like this, just with some fiberglass panels, which we'll be contacting a company for us to make. We're still trying to figure that out. We are not there yet, as we still have a long ways to go with the fabrication of the control arms, the fuel cell, the engine mounting plates, and even the seat and the pedals and the steering wheel that control the car. So I'm sitting in our Formula Student car that I have worked on for the past year and a half and actually been able to drive. This is a small club that started originally as a summer school club, but has been able to open up to a full-time club where we're able to go race at Madison International Speedway down the road and Road America in Elkhart Lake, where we got to race against teams all around Wisconsin. We meet a bunch of high schoolers just like us who love racing, who love building things, and who like making cars go fast. So we're with our welders here, and I brought over a stick so I can show you this, but this is what we use to weld outside when there is wind. It has a flux coating with a solid metal interior. The metal is what infuses between the two metals, while this flux powder protects the weld, allowing it to stay strong during its molten and cooling process. And likewise, this machine also has a protective agent, just it's argon gas, which is pushed out through this nozzle here. And depending on what you have in this, what your settings are at, and how much you're putting out, you can weld all different types of materials, including standard steel, aluminum, stainless steel, kind of anything. The only downside is that argon is a gas. Any wind will blow it away and it will ruin your weld. So we were just at the weld booth and I showed you this rod. but I'm gonna have to put this rod back into a rod oven to keep it at an ideal temperature for storage, along with a ideal moisture range, which is normally pretty low, so it'll last longer and we can keep a bunch of these very safe. I'm here in our Skills USA Hall of Fame, where with Skills, I was able to win our state level automotive service technology competition. And it was my only competition I've ever done. And I was lucky enough to win. So now I'm going to nationals in Atlanta with one other of my teammates who won technical drafting, where it's 3D modeling on the internet. It's the basis of everything at the beginning. And Skills USA as a club, it allows kids like myself who are in trades or in a physical job to like test themselves against other kids, see how they compete and how they stand up, and sometimes win money or scholarships, so it's cheaper for them to go to school based on their skills. I know other classmates of mine won scholarships to different schools based on what they competed in because they won or got on the podium for state. But this is our Skills Hall of Fame. I love working with my hands. It just excites me. It's something different every single time. Even if it's the same task, something ever so slightly different, it never makes it boring. I can be doing the same thing days and days and days, but those small little differences make it interesting, sometimes even fun. I'm currently a steam fitter, which does all the big piping that allows the heating and cooling for schools, hospitals, big businesses. But I used to be a mechanic where I got to fix cars and just work on those different small jobs. But it was always something different, and it is always something different in both of those jobs, which is why I love it so much, because it's never the same. And if you ask anyone who has a desk job what they hate most, is it's always the same thing every single day. I'm here with our Firestone Challenge trophies and posters, which is another competition similar to Skills USA, which I competed in. This has been my third year competing in it, where we were lucky enough to win third. My first year I got second place as a sophomore. My second year I got first place as a junior. And this past year I got first place again with my same partner as last year as a senior. It's a more automotive-based competition than skills, and it's only automotive. So it's more automotive driven and more measuring parts, identifying parts, changing a tire where you're based on how fast you can do it and if you can make a horn go off and how fast, along with a huge written test which is incorporated into your score. The past couple of years have been with a partner, whereas my first year I was completely alone and it was just a written test because of COVID. Thanks for watching this episode of Oregon Life. Now I got to get welding.
Watching this episode of Oregon Life.
Thanks for
Right?
watching this
Episode of Oregon Life.